Want us to move our freshly buried family member from the family plot? Enjoy not being able to access your farm this spring and your ruined reputation. In May 2024, my sister-in-law Sarah married Heath after 8 years together. He wasn't just her husband. He was the man who stepped in and became the father Sarah's daughter, Kate, had always deserved. Just weeks after the wedding, Heath formally adopted her. Heath was the kind of person you couldn't help but love. He was always the first to arrive when help was needed, and the last to leave because he stayed behind to clean up. He was funny, genuine, and the kind of man who brought people together. Whether it was cooking for the whole family or pulling out bourbon to toast another birthday, Heath became the emotional center of our family. And then, just a month after his 50th birthday, he died from a sudden, massive heart attack. The same men who had stood beside him at the altar were now pallbearers at his funeral 6 months later. We were shattered. Heath wasn't just a brother-in-law, he was family, in every sense of the word. We're a close bunch. The in-law part tends to disappear fast in our family. We were there to celebrate his life, and weeks later, mourn his loss together. The one thing Heath hadn't planned was where he wanted to be buried. A few weeks before his death, he and Jackie, our mother-in-law, had talked about final arrangements. Jackie mentioned wanting to be buried in the family plot with her parents and grandparents. She told Heath that a few plots would still be available by the time she and Mitch, her husband, passed. Heath had said he liked the thought of being laid to rest beside them. So, when he died suddenly, Jackie offered one of the plots to Sarah, who owned the one next to it, and Heath was buried there the following Friday. Then came the call. Just a few days after the funeral, Jackie received a call, not to offer condolences, but to criticize her. It was Bertha, a cousin in her 60s. She was outraged that a stranger had been buried next to their grandmother. Jackie calmly replied that Heath wasn't a stranger, he was her son. Mitch said it was the angriest he'd seen her in their 45 years of marriage. Days later, another call came from Charlotte, the wife of another cousin. Charlotte said Bertha and her sister were planning to sue Sarah to have Heath removed from the family plot. At that point, Mitch and Jackie told Sarah and Kate everything. Sarah, still grieving, was devastated. Legally, Sarah was in the clear. She owned her plot, and Heath was buried in a plot legally assigned to Jackie. But morally, emotionally, the betrayal stung. Eventually, my wife learned what was happening. She's not someone who reacts lightly when family is hurt. In her own words, she believed if they wanted that plot so badly, they could choke on it. Jackie's grandparents had originally set aside 12 plots for their descendants, but as fate would have it, only 5 were in use. Jackie's mother and father, a cousin, and now Heath. Jackie and Mitch planned to be buried there too, and Sarah owned another. That left only 3 unclaimed plots, suddenly rendered mostly unusable by the decision that was about to be made. Jackie and Mitch approved what came next. They had Heath exhumed, along with Jackie's parents, and relocated them to a new family burial site on their private land. The spot is quiet, surrounded by tall pines and rolling fields. There's room for the whole family now, and none of the drama. The cherry on top, the only access road to Bertha's land runs through Jackie's and her brother's property. It's the sole way in and out. That road will soon be tilled under for new planting. A new access point, well away from Bertha's land, is being built. We haven't told her. We also didn't inform her that the removal of Heath and Jackie's parents rendered 6 of the 12 original plots either legally inaccessible or pointless. Her lawsuit didn't just backfire. It burned the bridge, torched the field, and salted the earth. But my wife wasn't done. See, Bertha's a respected medical educator in the region. Everyone knows her, especially nurses. She even taught my wife back in the day. But now my wife's telling the story, quietly, calmly, only when asked, and slowly word is getting out. Because you can't take something sacred like a resting place for someone we loved and turn it into a power play without consequences. Some revenge is loud. This one is slow, patient, and permanent, just like erosion.